Hello, hello. Welcome to another Zenroca Breathwork invitation session. I'm Rose, and it is right on the top of the hour. So, like we always do, going to give people a few minutes to join. Make yourself comfortable. Check in with how you're feeling. We'll do a little bit a few different things today. It's going to be a little bit of a different session, but I'm really excited. Just checking over here. I'm going to put a message like I do in the chat for anyone who might join a little bit later. Hello. I'm seeing the chat now. So hi. Thank you. Welcome. Happy Saturday today, or whatever day it is if you're watching the replay. Like I said, if anyone is joining later, they can feel free to jump in and join us. Okay. I'm going to try to pin this. I had a little trouble last time just because there's some overlapping elements. Okay. I don't think I can do it right now. So anyway, it is in there. It's highlighted. It's all good. All right. Wonderful. So while we're giving people a few more minutes, you don't want to wait too long, let's go ahead and do our usual intro items. First, thank you so much for joining. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Like I said, check in with yourself. Notice how you're feeling before we begin. Some quick but important reminders, like we always have. The first is that this breathwork and meditation are a gift to your mind, body, and soul. So it's important that you are in a safe and comfortable space where you can practice. That includes, I like to note, anything that may ping, ding, or ring, setting that aside, turning it off if you can, and really being fully present. Next, you do not have to watch me on the screen. I'm actually going to be doing a little more talking today, mixed with some practicing. So if you want to keep your eyes on the screen, that's totally fine. But when we're doing our practices, you can close your eyes, and I'll guide you through options when we get to those parts. Next, remember that breathwork and meditation are not competitive. So do what you can, listen to your body, let go, and allow yourself to simply be. And lastly, these practices are for educational and informational purposes only and do not substitute medical advice or consultations with medical or other qualified professionals. With that, let's begin a little differently with a short discussion about breathing basics. So if you saw the headline about today's class, that is what we are covering today, in addition to some practices that will help us put these into use. So this is going to be a very high-level overview on some aspects of breath work. These are questions that I get all the time, things that I think are really important as we're doing these practices each week to understand and to know about breath work and the breath. And I'm also planning to dive deeper into these topics in the near future. There's so much to cover. So make sure that you are signed up for the newsletter to get notified of when that happens, because it might not be here on the YouTube channel. It might be, but it might also be elsewhere. So make sure that you're getting those notifications. So breathing basics. First, why does breath work matter? At any point during all of this, per usual, if you want to throw anything in the chat, feel free. But unlike essentials like food and water, oxygen is crucial constantly. The fact that we need to breathe might seem really obvious. When we're healthy and able, breathing is something we do without a second thought. However, breathing automatically does not necessarily mean that we're breathing properly. When we condition our bodies to recognize and become more comfortable with intentional breathing, we're more likely to practice doing that, whether we're breathing consciously or unconsciously. It's like muscle memory when we're playing an instrument or playing a sport. A quick question now for you to consider and share in the chat if you would like. Uh, what happens to your breathing when you are nervous, scared, or stressed? Take a moment to think about it and remember that there are no right or wrong answers. Everybody's a little bit different. Give you just a second to think about that. So sometimes our breath can seem separate from our bodies. Oh, shortens. Yes, we are going to get into that. Um, that's a really common response, it seems. Yeah. So shortness of breath. Sometimes our breath can seem separate, like I was saying, from our bodies. But in times of stress, we can see that fight, flight, and freeze responses manifest in things like shallow breathing, shortness of breath, rapid breathing, too much, too fast, and even holding our breath. So freezing and constricting it all together. These responses are often unconscious, but as proper and intentional breathing becomes more natural with practice, you can learn how to change your physical conditions to give you the support you need from the inside out when you enter situations that cause these things. So let's talk about 2 breathing basics today. Thank you. 2 breathing basics today to give you an even stronger foundation and understanding of why breath work is so important. The first is diaphragmatic breathing. This is maybe something you've heard of before or that you've practiced. It's also known as belly breathing, or abdominal breathing is another term for it. And it's considered the correct way to breathe. I don't want to put correct in quotations, but the correct way to breathe. There's so many different ways that we can breathe, as you've learned with all of our techniques, but this is the most natural way, really, for our bodies. It gives our minds and our bodies what it needs naturally. So when our bodies are calm and we're breathing naturally, we use our diaphragm. So diaphragmatic breathing. We do this when we sleep. We did this when we were infants, before we took on stress and bad breathing habits, like not letting our stomach stick out when we're breathing and things like that. There was no need for so much control and restriction around how we were just doing what we naturally do. The diaphragm, if you're unfamiliar, is a large dome-shaped muscle. It's a muscle right at the base or bottom of the lungs. So when it's engaged and we're using our diaphragm, our stomach, abdominal muscles, and our diaphragm are all fully engaged. When it's not engaged, and this is something to keep in mind, but when our diaphragm isn't engaged, our chest and neck muscles often assume the share of the work that goes into breathing, or the work that we're doing when we're breathing. So this contributes to feelings of pain sometimes and tightness in those areas when we're stressed. So if you hold stress in your shoulders, in your neck, learning this technique could be especially helpful. Breathing with the diaphragm can help you relax, reduce blood pressure, reduce heart rate, increase oxygen levels in the blood, and so much more. So it's really great. Again, we can get into more of the details in future videos, but for now, let's practice diaphragmatic breathing. So for this, you can either be sitting up or you can lie down. Some people find this easier to feel and to learn when lying down. And like I said, we do this when we sleep, so it's a very natural position for this type of breathing. But in either case, make sure that you are lying down. You can put your hands at your sides, or if you want to put them on your abdomen, you can feel around as we go through this. And if you're sitting up, make sure you're in our usual supported upright position. If possible, knees lower than your hips in that anterior position, so that your spine is lengthened and you're relieving any tension from your lower back. You can sit on a bolster, blanket, block, pillows, or on the edge of your seat. And I will do that myself. Okay. Now go ahead and notice without changing anything how you're breathing right now. Spend a moment. Bring your awareness to your chest and notice what it's doing or not doing. Is your chest rising and falling? If so, that's totally fine. Just notice. We're just noticing. Now take your attention to your abdomen, again, without changing anything. How much movement are you noticing there? If very little, that's very normal, but we're going to try to change that. We're going to breathe in and out through our nose, and we'll get into why that's important shortly. But a good rule to follow with breathing, but in this case with diaphragmatic breathing, is the first thing that fills up should be the last thing that empties. And here's how that looks. I'll just talk through it. You can follow along right now if you want, but we are going to do a few rounds right after this. So breathing in through our nose, we're going to visualize our breath pulling into our nostrils and making its way straight into our abdominal area. Steadily and effortlessly directing the breath, imagine you're using it to fill up a balloon in that space. As it expands fully and comfortably, allow the last bit of air to come in and fill the remaining space within you as your midsection and your chest fill and rise as well. So sometimes a misconception is that our chest isn't supposed to move if we're breathing properly. That's not the case. We don't have to constrict or restrict anything. It's just making sure that we are activating our abdominal area and having our diaphragm actually engaged in this process. So, working in reverse, we'll begin to exhale with our chest falling first, since that was the last thing to fill up. So then that's going to fall, our midsection. And lastly, we'll steadily and calmly breathe out and deflate our balloon and empty the rest of the air out. This can take practice, so let's do a few rounds of diaphragmatic breathing. If you're having trouble with the steps, that's okay. Do what you can. Keep practicing on your own and in our future sessions. So we're going to go ahead with 5 rounds. That's going to be in and out 5 times. So begin in through the nose. Imagine that air going down into the abdominal space, filling up a balloon. And then as you continue to breathe, let your body move and expand as you fill the rest of that space up into your chest, and then breathing out. Begin with the chest, the midsection, and the rest of the air coming out. And again, in. If you want to place your hands on your abdomen and chest as you do this, exhale. You can. I know that kind of helps bring the mind and body together. And inhale, expanding that balloon, filling the midsection, and then the chest rising. And exhale, let the chest fall, midsection, and the balloon emptying. Inhale again. Moving your body too, if you are sitting up, can be helpful, such as like what I'm doing here. Can help your body relax, exhaling. And one more inhale. All the way in and exhale. And return to your regular breath. I hope that was 5. Sometimes I get into the instruction and the breathing and all of that. If it wasn't 5, go ahead and do one more on your own. Okay. If you want to throw in the chat how that was, if it was difficult, if it felt different, if it was pretty easy, let us know. So again, great job. This takes practice. Now that we've gone over this technique in detail, try to apply it to, oh, it was nice. Okay, great. We're going to keep doing it a little bit more as we get into our practices. So uh, try to apply this with breathwork and meditation practices, and even when you're just aware of your breath during the day. So as you're going about your daily life, you can take a moment. You can do this standing up, obviously, laying down, sitting in a chair, anywhere. We're always breathing, so there's always an opportunity to get into this place and help our bodies get back into a natural, calm state. Now we're going to talk very briefly about breathing through the nose versus breathing through the mouth. I get this question a lot, so I wanted to just cover it today as part of our basics, and then we're going to get into the rest of our practice. Um, but if you have any ideas as to why breathing through the nose is particularly helpful, feel free to throw that in the chat if you want. First, it's important to remember that breath work can calm and engage the body and mind. A lot of people think, oh, breath work, that's just to calm me down. But that's not the case. It can do so much more. Like I noted earlier, we can change our physical conditions to support what we need in the moment using our breath, which is really neat. Yes, there are benefits to breathing through your mouth. So it's not that we shouldn't be breathing through our mouth ever. If you've been watching the streams for some time, you'll remember the glass straw breathing technique that we did, which was great. It allowed us to slow and control our breathing with intention, with an emphasis on it being especially helpful when we need to reset and regulate when we're feeling stressed or overwhelmed. That being said, more often than not, we're going to inhale and exhale through our nose when practicing breath work designed to make and keep us calm. Why is that? When we're extremely winded or overwhelmed, we usually recover with heavy exhales and sometimes inhales and exhales through our mouth. Think of an intense exercise, lifting several heavy boxes, being chased by a bear. In those cases, breathing through your nose makes sense, and your body is telling you that that's what it needs. It needs all that oxygen going in and out. When you're not stressing, straining, or surviving, but consciously and intentionally calming your mind, body, and overall nervous system, breathing in and out through your nose helps signal to your brain and body that you're safe, in a natural and controlled state, and that everything is okay. It's a more natural state that boosts oxygen intake, can help things like filtering dust and allergens, and can help humidify the air you breathe in. So there's a lot to be said about breathing through the mouth and some of the challenges about like mouth breathing. Maybe you've heard about that, but we're really just focused on some of the benefits of breathing through the nose in and out at this point. Okay, so to make sure we have time, let's transition over to our breathwork and meditation for today. Well, primarily breath work, since that's what we're focused on. Now that we've gone over all of this, you can apply this new knowledge to this practice. We're going to go through 3 phases in our breathwork practice today. First, we'll practice my personal favorite breathwork technique, rolling tides is what I call it. Then we'll move on to our 2-step balanced breathing that we did last week. So if you're here for that, you know how that goes. If not, we'll go over it. And lastly, I am going to let you take over for a specific length of time that I will monitor so that you can practice at a pace comfortable to you. So you can do whatever technique you want to apply diaphragmatic breathing, and you can just go. So remember, to a full inhale, hold, and exhale is 1 round. We'll do 10 rounds of each type of breathwork technique. I'll remind you how they work at the start of each section. So let's begin with rolling tides. To practice this, we're going to inhale for 4 counts, like a wave or a tide lifting up. We're going to hold for 4 counts, like a wave or a tide suspending right at the top. And then we're going to exhale for 8 counts, letting your breath roll out like the tide rolls into the rest of the ocean. Okay, really let your body move. Don't feel like you have to stay tight when we're doing this. And again, we're going to do 10 rounds. So let's begin with an inhale through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, starting with the chest down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and into the abdominal space. 4 and hold. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 2, 3, 4. Let your body release. 7, 8 again. In. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and in and hold. Feel the air filling the space and exhale in reverse. 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Empty the balloon. And in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Feel there. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in. And hold. 3, 4. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In again. 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A couple more. And inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. And exhale. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold and feel. 3, 4, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release and return to your natural breath. Wonderful. So, rolling tides lets you feel each step with the pause in the middle. So we really felt that inhale, the hold, and the exhale. Now we're going to make it more seamless with the 2-step balanced breathing. To practice this technique, we'll inhale for 4 counts, and then we'll exhale for 8 counts. No pause in the middle. So it's just going to be an inhale, exhale. It's like breathing naturally. We're just going to be a little more intentional about it. Again, we're going to do 10 rounds of this. I will keep track of the counts and go ahead, begin with your inhale in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 1, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in. Straight into that abdominal area and out. 2, 3, 4. Let your body sink. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Slowly. 7, 8. And in. 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. And out. 3, 4, 5. We're going to do a couple more. And in. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. 2, 3, Exhale, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Return to your natural breath. Okay, take a minute, see how you're feeling. We've done a lot of intentional breathing. Um, just feel your body. Notice how your breath is now. Before we get into the self-paced section, I am going to set a timer on my end so you don't have to worry about timing. You can do either your natural breath if you just want to practice the breath that feels comfortable to you in this moment using the technique. You're welcome to do that. If you want to do any of the two techniques we just did, you can do those as well. So rolling tides or the balanced breath with the 2 steps. Okay. So let me check the time here. Okay. So we can do, we'll say, just a little bit of time. Sometimes I don't like to say how much time we're going to do so that people aren't focused on the clock. I know some of you have a superpower where you know how much time has passed at any given moment. I do not have that. So I don't want you focused on time. Okay, so I'm going to set this timer. Go ahead and choose which technique you would like to do. And at a pace comfortable for you, go ahead and begin now. Go ahead and take your last inhale and exhale and return to your natural breath when you're done. Okay. Hopefully that was good, felt all right, whichever technique you chose, or if you were just breathing and feeling those steps, the expansion of the balloon within us that we were visualizing up into our chest. I have to say, sometimes when I'm doing this and I'm really moving with the motions, I feel like one of those balloon people that get filled up. Like outside of like the car dealerships, they have like those balloon people. Anyway, I feel like I'm lifting up from below and expanding up at the very top. And then the air comes back down and collapses. So if that visualization helps you, by all means, go ahead and use it. Okay. Uh, that is the breath work that we have done today. We are hitting the half hour, so I'm going to keep things focused on breath work today. I know that's been requested before, so we'll spend another session in the future maybe focused a bit more on meditation again. We like to keep the balance, but with that, what a practice that we had. We packed a lot into these 30 minutes. Thank you so much for uh, learning about some breathwork basics today. Oh, thank you so much. There's so much to cover with this topic. There's so many nuances to breathwork and meditation, but I hope you enjoyed this slightly different kind of class. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it or you learned something new. Uh, Share with others who you think might enjoy this or find it helpful, and subscribe if you are not already. Like I mentioned before, there's more coming, and I'm really eager to share that all with you. Be sure to join the newsletter to get notified of things happening on the platform and off. I'll stick around maybe for just a moment. Oh, thanks, sis. Hey, sis and fam. Hi, everybody. But yeah, to make sure that you're notified, let me know if you in the chat or in the comments, if you're watching this later, did learn something new today. Next time, can we lay down? Yes, we can do a lay down one next time. Let me make a note right now. Okay. We can lay down next time. I love that. Yeah, I was actually just going to say, if you have any recommendations or suggestions of things that you want to do, let me know, and I will make note and roll that into our next few sessions. Other than that, thanks for the celebrations. I think I'm going to wrap up today because we did pack all of our time. Thank you so much for joining. Remember to be a kind person to yourself and others. Take care of the earth, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining today's stream, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.